What's going on, guys? Baltmatrix here, and today we are taking a look at KFC Die Commander Stack. This is the E.A.V.I Metal series. Otherwise, well, it's probably the weirdest acronym I've ever heard. It stands for Expendable Autonomous Virulent Infantry. Okay then, I'm not sure what to make of that, so let's just get on with the review then. Die Stack is a very cool recolor of the KFC Citizen Stack figure. Now, this figure is also done up as Diaclone Ultra Magnus. That's where the D.A.I comes from. The overall aesthetic of the figure is quite nice, and you can turn and move the figure with no real problems. He rolls pretty well, and unfortunately my table isn't completely even and flush, so you do see some wheels not spinning. The wheels themselves are nice rubber. They are rubber wheels. The overall look of the cab is quite nice. However, if you turn the figure to the side and look back, you could see the giant robot head right there in the back of the cab. I really wish they didn't do that, but oh well. Another thing I kind of wish they didn't do was have the gun, or the robot's gun, stored right here in vehicle mode. This vehicle mode is a car carrier, but good luck trying to get anything really in it. You could flip the rear doors of the vehicle down, and you can fit a deluxe class figure in here, and maybe a single deluxe class figure up top, but the way the figure is positioned and the way it's set up, you can't hold more than two. You can technically hold a third up here, but with the fact that everything is uneven up here, you're not going to really have a good time with a third figure. So you can really hold max of two. The missiles that the figure comes with cannot be fired. They're just kind of decorative, but they can be positioned in a variety of directions. I do appreciate that quite a bit. However, I don't particularly care for the color. The gray and the black or charcoal don't work so well for them. But given the rest of the figure's color scheme, it actually does work for the rest of the figure, just not on their own. The figure's transformation is very similar to MP Ultra Magnus, or even more similar to the Generations Ultra Magnus that was just released a few months ago. To start off with, we will first unlatch, or unpeg, oh sorry, I knocked something over, the top of the vehicle mode. Come on. And then unpeg the vehicle mode from these pillars here and flip them up and fold them out. Then we can remove the big gun. Next, we will take these gray pieces and fold the little doors on the inside in, and then take the legs, or the rear of the vehicle mode, and fold that whole section back like so. Now right now we have kind of a mess on our hands. So to fix this, we will split the legs apart and then pull the legs straight out like that. So we expose the knees and make sure that these are connected correctly, otherwise things get floppy. Then we'll reach underneath and flip out the feet, and they flip out a little bit differently than that Leader Class Ultra Magnus. And yes, if you're wondering, this figure is going to be a lot bigger than that Leader Class Ultra Magnus. So once we do that, then we'll come to these gray sections, and these will fold in to the inside of the legs and peg in to the inside of the legs, therefore giving a little bit of structural stability to the rest of the legs. Straightening the legs out, we then will take next we'll take the legs and kind of position them so that the hips are in the right spot. And then when we do that, we can then collapse the entire top into a chest. Or actually, collapse it so it looks right. But before we collapse it, we have to flip out these little panels here. If we don't, things have a tendency to go wrong real quick. And then we can flip these down and peg them into place. Next, and you see the arms in the way here. Next, I like to use the arms as, well, legs. And then we can come in here and fold the cab down, get that locked into place, fold that back, and this section is supposed to lock into the cab. So we'll fold that in and then flip these black pieces up that we just flipped out, and that'll lock the chest into place. Then we could twist the head around, turn the figure around, flip the arms in and peg them into place, and then slide the arms up like that. It's actually a lot harder than it looks because, oh man, is it tight. Put the caps down, come into the inside, and flip these panels that are pegged in, or slide these panels back to expose the fists. And once we're done, we'll just go ahead and pose them up. One last bit of the transformation that I forgot was once we flip out the arms initially, we have to fold these little panels up. The robot mode we end up with is definitely Ultra Magnus, but what I like to do is put on the second faceplate that the figure came with. Now the figure comes with two different faceplates, or faces, one with the mouth exposed and one with this, well, faceplate. And I chose the faceplate because that really does remind me more of the original D.A.I clone figure. The coloring works a lot better in this mode. The gray, the blue, the red, and the black all work phenomenally well, and it just feels like a good figure. The plastic is a little bit on the fragile side, I want to say. It doesn't feel as strong as some other third-party companies make their plastic feel. The figure doesn't feel like it's going to fall apart anytime soon, thankfully. Giving you guys a quick 360-degree view of the figure, you can see that he is very, very similar to Legends class Ultra Magnus. So much so that I'm wondering if Hasbro ripped off KFC. I mean, it's disturbingly similar, other than the Animus Minbus, the little dude inside Ultra Magnus whose name I can never pronounce. Otherwise, these figures are practically identical almost. Well, if you think about it though, how many ways can a giant car carrier transform in the classic Ultra Magnus style? I can't think of many ways other than RID Ultra Magnus. Die Stack is loaded with posability. Ball joint in the head, hinge and swivel joints in the arms or shoulders, swivel above the elbow, 90-degree bend at the elbow, fists do move, hands are fingers are individually articulated, which I greatly appreciate. Torso articulation, hip articulation is a series of, oh my god! Oh, by Primus. Oh, I'm so sorry. There are ratcheting joints in there. Maybe. 90-degree bend at the knee. Well, almost 90 degree. Okay, that's not 90 degree. And a swivel just below that, and feet are individually articulated. As I said, tons of posability, as long as you don't mind the sound of horrors coming out of his hips. Now, Legends Class Ultra Magnus is only about 3/4 the size of Die Stack, and I love Ultra Magnus. I think he's a fantastic figure. I was being a little bit hyperbolic when I said that their transformations are identical. They're close or similar in some aspects, but the torso transformations are not similar in the least bit. In fact, they're very, very different. But I just wanted to give you guys a quick size comparison with Ultra Magnus here. And why do I keep calling him Legends class Ultra Magnus? He's an Ultras class. He's not a Legends. Legends are a lot smaller than this. Just one more quick size comparison for you guys to give you an idea of just how big he is. He's bigger than a Combiner Wars Gestalt, and he's about the same size, maybe just a smidge bigger than Masterpiece Starsaver. This leads to a couple of small issues that I have with Die Stack, and that has to do with, one, the quality of the plastic. And what I mean by that is the figure doesn't feel like he has any heft to it. All of the pieces feel hollow and light, and I worry that he's going to break eventually. Not anytime soon, but maybe a year or two down the line. The other issue I have with the figure is he doesn't hold together all that well. And what I mean by that is, specifically, let's take a look at the arms, the shoulders actually. They don't peg in and stay there, along with some other parts here and there. They don't seem to stay where you put them, if that makes any sense, especially in robot mode. In vehicle mode, everything pegs together really tightly, but in robot mode, some of the stuff, not including the legs, feels like it just wants to pop out of place. And that's just a quality control issue that KFC is going to have to deal with. From what I understand, KFC's later figures fixed that issue. Overall, I like Die Stack a lot, especially if you can't get a hold of Citizen Stack or MP Ultra Magnus, Masterpiece Ultra Magnus, that is. So gang, I hope you have enjoyed this video review. I picked this guy up at BigBadToyStore.com, and you can too. As always, gang, I am Baltmatrix. Thanks you to like, comment, and subscribe, and be sure to check me out on Twitter if you're over there. You can find me at Baltmatrix. Please stick around for my next video review, and I'll catch you next time.